What's up, all you BC WrestlePod nerds out there?
Nerds
on the internet. And welcome back to our regular scheduled programming. We were off for a little bit as myself and the East Coast Collective boys made their way to New Jersey Wrestle Show. Thank you to Vinny and the promoters out there for having us out there. We had a great time. We got to network. We got to meet some cool folks. And something that we didn't expect because there was no rule saying that we didn't, we got to interview some of the people that were there. So stay tuned this week as we are going to be uploading those. And you'll just have to see who we got to interview. No spoilers until then. But now we are back to our regular scheduled programming, and we are back with another Raw Squad review, your weekly WWE Monday Night Raw review team. I am your host, El Jefe, also known as Mikey around the BC WrestlePod parts. I am the man with half the plan and the face that kind of runs the place, somewhat. And I am joined by my partner in crime, my tag team aficionado, my Grand Poobah of the Monday Night Rawness. It has been a while since he has graced his presence, but Senor Luchadon, it is so nice to be able to be back to review another episode of Raw with you.
I had to be in Mexico for the AAA promotion. I had to watch Nick Nemeth beat Adolfo El Patron.
Yep, so that was a thing that happened. Shout out to Nick Nemeth for being the new AAA champion, as Vikingo had to give that up due to injury. Who knows, we might be covering AAA a little bit soon. A little bit on that a little bit later. But we are here to review another episode of Monday Night Raw, and lo and behold, this is the go-home Monday Night Raw before King and Queen of the Ring this Saturday. Just as discretion and the news, as it has been said in previous iterations of this review, but we here on BC WrestlePod will not be reviewing due to the fact that it is in Saudi Arabia, and we here at BC WrestlePod refuse to review something in a country where women's rights and LGBTQIA plus rights as well as minority rights are infringed upon by a government. Really, really sad. I wish they did King of the Queen of the Ring somewhere else, but you know, that Saudi money is a lot.
And they still have to finish their deals through legal name his name around these parts. So I think it's still part of his contract.
Yeah, so they have to finish out with that, and who knows if they'll truly ever be done. But
no, because TKO likes Saudi money.
Yeah, that's also unfortunate too. All right, but without all that being said, this was actually a pretty, even though it was 3 hours, this was actually a pretty good Monday Night Raw. And what I'm noticing is since the post-draft, Monday Night Raw tends to be more of the work rate show between Raw and SmackDown, so I'm okay with it.
Better show. That dork Mini needs to know.
Yeah, I mean, me and Professor Mini are enjoying SmackDown because it's more story-centric than wrestling-centric, but I have to say the wrestling on Raw has been a fun thing. So let's just jump into it. Monday Night Raw kicks off with Sami Zayn coming down to the ring to cut a promo. Essentially, Sammy in this promo talks about his upcoming triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship at King and Queen of the Ring. And while Chad Gable is mind, Bronson Reed is the body, Sami Zayn is the soul of this whole entire triple threat, and he is going to give everything he has to walk out of King and Queen of the Ring, still your Intercontinental Champion. So, pretty standard paint by numbers promo, babyface promo from Sammy that we've come to learn and love from him, which then prompts Chad Gable to come out, interrupt, basically chastise all of Alpha Academy in front of everybody until Sammy tells Chad to shut up and that, hey, you know what? We have this match on Saturday, but let's fight right now. Non-title match, get your butt in this ring. So before we talk about the actual match itself, Senor Luchadon, how do we feel about the promo from Sammy and the rebuttal from Chad Gable in this whole entire
the Sami Zayn promo was a Sami Zayn promo. It was this, I am the underdog, but I have the spirit. I can do this. I have the heart. I like Chad Gable, though. He's an asshole being an asshole, and I like that.
Yeah, Chad Gable kind of being a turd right now. Being heel Gable is actually really exciting to watch. So now let's talk about the match itself, because this match was I think I lost count of how many German suplexes that Chad Gable gave to Sammy.
I feel like I was watching a Brock Lesnar match.
Holy crap, it's like 15 German suplexes in a row. I also love, shout out to the person with the sign in the background, Perk Gable in the background.
Which is funny because at the end of the match they started chanting "You suck." Exactly. They just gotta do it in the Kurt Angle theme, and next thing you know, we got Perk Gable.
We've been saying this for the longest time. Chad Gable needs to go the route of Perk Angle, like Kurt Angle and whatnot, because he's literally close. He has a wrestling singlet. He's like all-American as all-American is yet.
Go wrestling machine.
Exactly.
Which I think is the direction he's heading. If we get the tease, because we got the tease of the Creeds joining him. So if we get the Creeds joining him, then we just go full wrestling machine with them and the Creeds and just watch a absolute dominant force join the fray.
Absolutely. So the other thing that was very interesting to watch during this match too is the story that we're telling with Alpha Academy, because at various points in this match, you know, Chad Gable wanted Alpha Academy to attack Sammy when the ref wasn't looking. First it was Maxine, but she wouldn't do it. She couldn't do it. Kira Tozawa wouldn't do it. Chad Gable inducted himself with referee powers and ejected both of them out of the match, which only left poor little Otis. And I thought Otis...
Don't use the word little and Otis in the same sentence.
Poor Otis. So poor Otis. You are right. He's not a little man.
There's nothing with that man that is little.
No, it is not. But Otis has the same problem. He doesn't want to attack Sami Zayn, and he's on the apron. But then as Sammy gets ready to climb the top turnbuckle, he gets attacked by Otis, which allows Chad Gable to pick up the win. Chad Gable defeats Sami Zayn in this non-title match, and to me at least, this tells me, oh, Chad's not winning this match on Saturday. Probably not.
No, I think Sammy retains, and I think he winds up dropping it, either Ilya Dragunov or...
That's actually
Bron Breakker.
Yeah, one of those two. Get to Mr. Breakker in a little bit, because Jesus. He was on another level this episode.
He went full Breakker.
He really, really did. So, Chad picks up the victory here. We'll talk about Otis and all the other Chad Gable chicanery later in the evening. So then we get this video promo of EO, and I just gotta say, I'm like, whoever's in charge of this new direction of promos, I gotta give them props, because this shit was fire. EO is like being like a siren mermaid monster in the water. You know, I was just like, this is what I want to see from their promos.
Character. There's character.
Yes, that is exactly it. There's character, but this is a hype package, and EO in this promo talks about how she's the dominant force. She's beaten pretty much a lot of the women's roster, and she's going to win and go on to the finals of Queen of the Ring. And I'm just like, this is how you make me care. And this still makes EO look strong, even though she lost the championship to Bayley. I need SmackDown to take a look at this, because this is somebody who doesn't have a championship and is super and this promo made her super important. How are we not doing the same thing with Bayley? Like, come on now.
I just don't think they have no idea what they're going to do with Bayley yet, because everybody got fucking hurt.
That's also fair, and there's also some other problematic stuff that the SmackDown boys will probably end up talking about over the course of the next couple of weeks, because Miss Tiffany Stratton may have found herself hot to the water. But we move on from this awesome promo. Backstage, Alpha Academy, or Chad Gable, is being interviewed about what happened, and then we get one of those chase sequences where the camera follows around. Somebody attacked Cruz del Toro of LWO, and I was just like, it's Carlito, isn't it? And then later on we did, yep, sure was. So it seems that we're going to be doing Judgment Day, and LWO was like, but we kind of did this already when it was just Dom and Ray, but all right, we'll see what happens with this. I don't know. I was like, why do all the Mexicans have to fight each other? Why are all the Puerto Ricans? This is not gang-on-gang warfare. Stop throwing all the Latino people in the feud.
It's the same people over and over and over again.
I'm just like, it's literally Dom versus Ray 2.0, but now we're involving a whole entire faction, and Carlito is on the other side with Judgment Day. But I digress. Thankfully, this is the only time we really talked about this feud, so who knows? We might be planning scenes post King and Queen of the Ring, which then leads us into our next match where Braun Breaker murdered local talent Kel Dixon. Holy
murdered
crap.
him.
He literally, like, there was a homicide, there was manslaughter, like, take your pick. I saw someone die on my television screen. Braun was up. Braun turned to the camera and said, he was like, no, I wasn't putting King of the Ring tournament. Speared this man's soul out of his body. Then he did it again on the outside. Then there was steel chairs, and then steel steps and a chair.
And then he speared him again.
Like, Braun Breaker was a menace in this match. And then later he was a menace too, because we cut to commercial, come back, Kel Dixon's being put into the ambulance, and Adam Pearce yells at Braun Breaker like, what the hell, man? Why we do this? And Braun's like, you didn't put me in the tournament. This one's on you. I was like, I'm about to go crazy. And
it's your fault.
This is your fault. I was like, ooh. I was like, yeah, no. This is what I wanted to see for Braun Breaker for the longest time. And main roster Braun Breaker is about to be a menace.
I'm excited for what they're going to do with him.
Oh, I'm excited to see who he ends up feuding with first after, with this whole thing. So now we get into our next match. This is the finals for the Raw side of Queen of the Ring, Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky. This match went 3 whole commercials. This was a long, good-ass match, though, too.
It was good to finally get the woman a decently long match.
I know. I was just like, thank gosh. We got this match with 3 commercial breaks. This was an awesome match. They both went back and forth doing great things. Lyra, you can definitely tell, is the prodigy of Becky Lynch because they both train together. Becky is her teacher, which is really cool to see. Io continuing to do crazy, like, Empress of the Sky kinds of things. But then, shock of the century for me, Lyra Valkyria pins Io and moves on to the finals of Queen of the Ring, where she will either be facing Bianca Belair or Nia Jax on Saturday for Queen of the Ring. I'm like, I'm happy that Lyra won, but I was kind of surprised that she beat Io in this match.
I was too. Like, I didn't expect. But Papa H is pushing his XC guys.
Yeah, so I love Lyra. I think her wrestling is phenomenal, but one thing that we have said in NXT is that Lyra just needs to fine-tune her character. We love her in-ring ability, just need her character to be worked up. But man, I'm excited to see what happens with Lyra, and she's already getting such a phenomenal push after being drafted to Raw from NXT. So it's really, really nice to see. But this was a fantastic match. And then we get the most protected treasure backstage with Awesome Truth. Miz is trying to tell Truth, be like, hey, the Judgment Day have the numbers. We got to figure out what we're doing. And R-Truth is like, don't worry about it. I got backup. I talked to Andre the Giant. I'm like, I paused and I laughed. And then Miz did what I thought he was going to do. Truth, Andre the Giant hasn't been around for origin. You know what? Never mind. Nope. We're going to figure it out. Truth leaves and Miz looks up to the sky, says, we can use some Andre protection here. And Truth is like, who are you talking to? Nobody. And you say, I'm crazy.
I fucking love R-Truth.
I just love that Miz and Truth have reunited as Awesome Truth. And this is what we're getting every single week. I don't care if it is just comedy stuff. This is a great tag team. I love Truth. And you know what? I'm so happy that since returning for Truth, he's been giving so much TV time. It is the best thing that has happened for Raw. I'm not even going to trip about that.
I think this is probably going to be like his last major run too,
which is very fair
because
he's up there in age. But man, R-Truth is a national treasure, and I'm so excited for this. So then we get part 2 of the spearing because Ilya Dragunov's being interviewed after losing his match last week. And then Ricochet comes up because they got unsettled beef too. I was like, yes, give me Ricochet versus Ilya like right now. And then poor Ricochet gets, the receiving end of another spear through the like cases and everything. I'm like, Bron is about to tear up this roster, and I'm here for it.
Spearing everybody.
It was. So then we get this really interesting promo from Gunther, who's in an empty arena. I was just like, what in the docu-series is happening right now? But Gunther talks about how Jay is the main event, But Gunther, it doesn't matter if Jay is main eventing all the time because Gunther is going to submit to him and beat him to a pulp, and he will win his match to advance to the finals of the ring. I'm like, ooh.
And I believe him because Gunther is terrifying.
Gunther is terrifying. He will chop me in half. It's kind of intense. But after this promo, backstage, we get the Judgment Day hanging out. We get confirmation here that Carlito was the one that attacked Cruz del Toro. And the boys are trying to, get Damian to accept Carlito. And Damian's like, no, he needs to earn his keep every single week if he's going to stay around. Just because he did one favor doesn't mean anything. So I'm like, Damian, I mean, I can't be mad at Damian. I kind of agree with him, but,
He makes up a good point.
He does make a good point. Man, this breakup is going to be messy when it happens.
We won't talk about that.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But after this, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark are getting ready for this #1 contenders match later in the evening when we get a returning Sonya Deville, who we haven't seen in 9 months due to injury. But she is back on WWE television. I'm like, yes, give me all the lesbians now. I mean, Zoe, Shayna, and Sonya, I was like, yes, WWE, give me a lesbian faction. Let's go.
Les
Conics, yes. And plus, all three women I know will beat me to a bloody pulp, too. Because Sonya and Shayna are MMA martial artists, and Zoe will just kill me. But Sonya comes back, and she says that she's here to help Zoe and Shayna. Zoe says yes, but Shayna's like, no. I was like, we don't need your help. We got this. And they walk off screen. I'm like, and then we look at them later in the evening, because then in the background, Sonya's talking with Zoe and Shayna during the Chad Gable talking to the Freeds, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Which leads us into our World Tag Team Championship match, Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day. This is also a really fun match, and as The Miz predicted, the numbers game started to be against Awesome Truth because Carlito was coming out and helping as Dom can't because he's injured. But then the most unlikely ally, because R-Truth did get backup, it's not Andre the Giant, oh no, but help came in the form of Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman's big ass.
I was like, well, damn. I was like, if we're going to be putting Braun with Awesome Truth as their bodyguard, I'm actually kind of here for it.
Yeah, me too.
We know Braun has some comedic chops. I mean, the whole entire mixed match tournament where he was paired up with Alexa Bliss, that was the funniest shit on the planet for me.
Or his jump team with Ricochet, and he wanted to throw Ricochet. Ricochet was like, no. He's like, don't worry, I got you. And threw Ricochet over the top rope.
I love it so much. But Awesome Truth retained the title. Judgment Day, unfortunately, were not able to capture the championships. The other thing that was interesting, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit with the Judgment Day too. Finn teased that, if he has to, he'll go to the places that no people should go before. I'm like, are we about to see a return?
If they do, please let him fucking win.
Yeah, the Demon on main roster has been 0. And however, I want Demon Balor to come back, but I need it. This was a fun tag team match. Then backstage, Lyra is being interviewed about going to Queen of the Ring. Liv Morgan interrupts. They have a little bit back and forth, and Liv punches Lyra in the face.
Yeah, it's
Revenge Tour is in full effect.
It is Liv Morgan being heel,
which we continue to see because then Becky Lynch comes out. She cuts a promo, and I was just like, Becky, I kind of can't disagree here. I was like, you have put the women's division on the map here with this, and in the short title reign, like, you have worked for everything you got. Then Liv comes out and says that Becky's being unfair. And Liv, I love you, girl, but Becky kind of ate you with this promo. Like, and we both can agree. I love Liv, but her mic work is not the strongest.
It's still something she's still working on.
Which I'm totally here for. But even though we're not covering the pay-per-view, I'm going to be very interested to see what happens if he walks out.
I don't think anybody's going to lose their belts.
I don't think so either, but what I'm hoping is that it sets up so that way Liv and Becky can have a feud over the summer, which goes to Clash at the Castle, Money in the Bank, and culminating at SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam is where Liv should win this title.
Or Rhea comes back and takes it.
That's also very, very true as well. Mommy. Okay, so let's talk about this other weird thing that's going on. So the New Day are backstage. Xavier Woods gets medically okay to go wrestling again. So the boys are celebrating. Kofi Kingston goes off to talk to Adam Pearce in a tag team match with possibly championship intentions involved. And then Karrion Kross comes in. Because he did this last week with Kofi too. And he does the same thing with, Xavier, trying to get them to join Karrion and Scarlett. And I'm like,
I thought they were on NXT.
They were, but because AOP lost the championships, that kind of stopped them from being there now that we're done with spring breaking and all that good stuff.
Oh, that was it? They were just there briefly?
Yeah, they were there briefly, but now they're on Raw. So that's that. Ew. I'm very interested to see why Karrion and Final Testament want to recruit today.
I think do they not have AOP anymore? Does AOP just gone?
No, I haven't read anything that AOP is no longer part of the Final Testament, but kind of color me intrigued is the best way to put it. I'm intrigued to see what happens, but man, I need them to start using Karrion more because we make fun of him as he's generic wrestler number 578 on the lineup, but I do like Karrion Kross, but he has never fully been the same after he got buried on the mic by Paul.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. If this is a new feud for New Day and Final Testament, I'm here with it, but we'll see what happens.
Just give me a new feud and have it be the segue to returning to the Young.
I would cry tears of happiness if that were the case. But this leads into a Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match for a Women's Tag Team Championship opportunity. So this saw Damage Control, which is being represented by Kyrie and Dakota Kai, taking on Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, taking on Maxine Dupree, or just Maxine now, and Miss Ivy Nile, versus Kaden and Katana Chance. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. This is a short match in itself. I thought all women did the great thing. Love seeing Maxine continue to do the reverse worm, into the elbow drop. And then I thought something crazy was about to happen because then she rolled up into an ankle lock.
Dude, she was popping off, not gonna lie.
Ooh, and I was laughing too because she was holding it on Dakota Kai like, don't break her ankle again, don't break her ankle again. Like, we cannot get Dakota Kai injured. I was very surprised that I'm happy, but I was also surprised that Zoe and Shayna pick up the win here, so they are our number 1 contenders for those Women Tag Team Championships. I was like, pull the trigger. Pull the trigger.
Good. Match was kind of dead, though. The crowd wasn't super into it.
No. Crowd, you were hot for the first half of the show, then you kind of died by the end of it. Until we got to the main event, but for this, I'm going to wrap up what happened here. So, Sami Zayn was backstage. Otis comes in. Sammy's upset with Otis. Otis apologizes. I'm like, I can't be mad at our little cannonball Otis.
Nope.
No, I can't. It hurts me too much to be mad at Otis. But Sammy tells him that Otis needs to figure out what he needs to do, and Chad Gable's not the right person for him. So, which leads to Chad Gable talking to the Creeds, and in the background, as we mentioned, we see Sonya talking to Zoe and Shayna. But Chad... Factions. But Chad catches Otis and tells the Creeds they'll talk later. Chad is happy that Otis did. Otis is honest and he says that he apologized to Sammy. Chad thinks that Otis is helping him play mind games with the match. When I'm like, no, Otis feels actually really bad, Chad. That's not the reason. And Otis is going to be, it seems he's going to be a king of the ring. So I am very interested to see what role Otis is going to play during that triple threat match. Whether or not he fully joins Chad or if he goes and that pop when Otis turns on Chad is going to be huge.
Oh, it's going to be massive. It's going to be like, let's go.
Exactly. So that has me excited. Which then we finally get to our main event of the evening. This is the King of the Ring Raw Finals, where we have main event Jey Uso taking on the Ring General Gunther. Jey needs to take a couple days off because that chest is not the same no more.
Dude, Gunther beat the fuck out of him.
I'm kind of glad that he did, because Jay technically looked strong too, because he tap out, he passed out after getting choked, freak out. But man, Gunther the entire time was chopping at Jay's chest every chance he got. Then there was that one point where I thought Jay actually might win, but the ref got bumped and couldn't see and was up to do the 3 count a little bit late. Man, Gunther, the tar at Jay's chest, he made Jay pass out. So our winner, and moving on to the finals Saturday, is Mr. Gunther himself. Which means to tell me, since Gunther wins, I think Randy's going to win on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's a come between Randy and Tom. Well, Bloodline could be doing shenanigans, so it could be Tama Tonga.
That's very, very fair. Also, even though he was briefly on the show tonight in a segment that didn't really mean anything, McIntyre's social media game is strong because he commented on the video Tama Tonga making faces in that weird exclusive video from SmackDown. And Drew McIntyre's quote is, I thought nobody told him. I thought everyone knew not to feed Tama Tonga after midnight. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he pulled a Gremlins reference. Like, this Drew McIntyre being a troll has been the best thing for his career so far. I love it. I'm also really excited because according to news reports, we are going to get Damian versus Drew at Clash at the Castle, which makes me super excited.
I'm always excited to see those two go at it.
Yeah, this should be interesting for sure. But I don't know if it was for your feed only, but when I watched it, like as soon as Gunther won, like they literally cut to the next program. Raw was like, yeah, we're not going over this time. We got to end at exactly.
Yeah, it was like 1, 2, 3. He went, done.
I was like, okay, well that's the thing that happened. But yeah, it's like, okay, we gotta go. We can't be staying on like this all the time. Like, but Senior Luchador, that's the end of Monday Night Raw, and look at that, we are very good. We covered a 3-hour show in almost 30 minutes.
Hour per 10 minutes because we're good at our jobs.
Heck yes. There's a lot that goes on at Raw, so we need to cover it. And but Senior Luchador, this was technically the go-home show before King and Ring. So what did you rate this week's episode of Monday Night Raw?
I'm gonna give it a solid 7 empanadas.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't the worst, wasn't the best. It was kind of a good little go-home show. We like Sonya Deville coming back. We like seeing Braun Strowman come out. So it was cool. It sets everything up. I like the teasing of some factions, and we're gonna see how it goes at the Saudi show. We're not reviewing it, but I'll probably still wind up watching it.
At least check out the results, because if anything major happens, I will definitely, like with all the pay-per-views with WWE, I will post the winners and whatnot. So we'll just see what that happens. I wish that Sportskeeda, who shout out to them who do all the graphics for the winners, I wish they also covered, the smaller promotions, but that's okay. I am with you, Senior Luchador. I also give this a 7 out of 10. I thought this was a really strong show. This was a fun show. Obviously, it was still focused on King and Queen of the Ring, which is happening on Saturday, but it seems that we're planting the seeds for everything to come afterward, and hopefully set up what we're going to be seeing during the summer over the trifecta of the pay-per-views that we got. But that is going to be it for us here at the Raw Squad Review. You can check out our social medias at BC WrestlePod if you enjoy the YouTubes. You can also check everything we got here. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, we got those interviews from New Jersey Wrestling Show that happened this week coming up shortly. And by the time this video goes up, stay tuned at 3 p.m. Pacific time, because you are going to see the first interview, which is going to be myself interviewing one Ash by Elegance from TNA, formerly known as Dana Brooke. So I got to have a chat with her. So check that video out to see what we ended up talking about. By the way, she is super sweet and super nice. So now I got to support her even more. But that is going to be it from us, from myself and Senior Luchador, and the rest of everyone here at the BC WrestlePod. Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, deserve to finish your story. We'll catch you next week for the Raw after King and Queen of the Ring. Till then, ta-ta for now. This starts outro.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.